right?
Let's go! Who's up next?
Welcome, Internet, to the Xbox Empire podcast, part of the Play Some Video Games network of podcasts. I'm Elaine. Donnie's here. We're going to talk about video games on the internet. I think we might talk about video games on the internet this week. We're going to try. We don't have you don't have an AC exploding.
No, but you know what? I didn't even think about this. And because we've had the video issues, I don't think this is the issue, but I am actually recording, like I'm talking to you right now in the middle of a thunderstorm. It is pouring cats and dogs outside.
Same is about to be happening over me. So if we completely clip out of the live recording, that's the reason. I'm still having video problems when we stream. I have no idea why. I've reinstalled all softwares. Technology was a mistake.
We tried different call things.
We tried everything.
It's a thing.
Technology was a mistake. I've tested it a million times on my end, and it's fine. It's ghosts in the machine, children.
AT&T came by this week. They had this cute kid who came by and tried to get me to sign up.
Oh.
I appreciate a good salesman. I try to always give them at least some time.
Sure.
And he just wouldn't let go. He's like, so if you give me your email, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. But he kept trying. He was like, all you have to do is sign up today. You don't have to commit. And I was like, I'm not going to give you my email. And then I started getting upset because he wouldn't let it go. It's like, dude, I'm not signing up for your service today. So stop.
I have a sign. So here in New Jersey, if you have a no soliciting sign, they're not supposed to knock on your door. I have a sign that says, oh yeah, for some reason the Fios guy always does it anyway. And the sign specifically says, it's on my mailbox, which is right next to my front door. It says, no soliciting, see dog for details. While the dog is absolutely losing his mind on the other end of the door, sounding like a frothing direwolf. And the one lady who came to the door, she was not Fios. She saw the sign after hearing the dog and ran away from my house. I think she just thought I was going to come out with a shotgun. But the Fios dude just stays standing there. I'm like, did you not read the sign? And he's like, but I'm like, get off my lawn. Like, I have no patience. Because I have a sign posted.
The thing that I find really interesting about that is it has to be successful or they wouldn't keep doing it. Like, they do it for a reason.
Yes.
But I can't imagine that it's successful. Like, in no way, shape, or form would I ever, would I ever switch services because somebody knocked on my door? Like, that is
absolutely not.
Bizarre. It's mind-blowing.
No,
it's like, I'm so glad you're here today. Yeah, let's change all of this stuff that I've already done. Like, that's bizarre.
No.
But at the same time, like, the fact that I would do it so instantly that you could just show up on your time and I would change my life.
I don't, but there are people who do that because
clearly
what they're paying these people who walk neighborhoods is worth it. And it's got to be people, middle-aged, maybe not as technology educated as we are. Like, I know what my options are, right? Sure. I've been a Comcast customer for so long that they bend over backwards for me. I'm not changing.
He hit me with he's like, we will give you 1 gigabyte download but we'll give you 1 GB upload. And I was like,
Yeah, that's
hang on a
what
second.
FiOS will do for me. FiOS will do that for me, and they will eat my cancellation cost if I
so
really
they
wanted
wouldn't do
to.
that because I was like, look, I just switched. Like, I'm gonna have to pay a penalty, and they're like, yeah, that sucks.
Oh. They'll eat mine. They'll eat my switching costs. But the TV, we use live TV for sports, and it's just better for us through Comcast. So, and also just like they give me stupid pricing. I've been a customer for like 14 years. They don't even.
I've been a customer with Comcast for since we've moved here, and we've never had an outage.
I've only had one, and it was during Hurricane Sandy, and really everybody was out of everything.
The only time I've ever lost internet is when we lost power.
Yes,
like internet.
correct.
Like I ran a generator. The one time we lost power, we had a snowstorm without power for a week. I ran a generator and plugged my thing in. We still had internet. Like it was still going. So
yeah. I can't. I'm like in the 1% of people who have had no problems with Comcast. So
yeah. So I told him, I was like, you're barking up. You got a nice pitch here, but no.
Shoo, Doogie, get off my. I love just being able to say get off my lawn. That was my frothing dog is behind me. So yeah, this is the podcast where we talk about air conditioners and internet service providers. Donnie, have you been playing video games?
I play a lot of video games, Elaine.
Yay!
I played.
Did you play games you want to talk about?
First and foremost, hopped into the Sea of Thieves, and I met old Captain Jack Sparrow.
How was that? It
was fun. I deployed the Sea of Thieves Uber service, as known as Coachmo. I legit got on the boat and stood there while he ran around me making things happen. That's exactly how that went down.
Forward!
That's exactly. I was just like looking around. I was taking photos. I was taking screenshots. I was like, man, this is really pretty.
Mo is like sweating.
Yeah, he's
clicking all these
buttons.
buttons.
Nathan was supposed to join us, but he couldn't make it. And we did the first tale, the tall tale.
Okay.
And I can report probably what the internet already knows. Apparently, it follows along the Disney ride, like the amusement ride.
Interesting.
I mean, know.
Okay.
Never been on it.
I don't know.
But that's what Coach Mo told me. Here's the thing. Sea of Thieves is great. Like every time I jump into it, it's beautiful. I'm always amazed like the beautiful world that they've made. This DLC did not change my mind about Sea of Thieves at all.
Fair enough.
Kind of janky. Like they're just like we didn't have issues, but like we did have an issue right at the very end where like we finished the mission, but it didn't load. So we just sat there like on the ghost boat for like 10 minutes. I was like, are we going somewhere? Or
it's
like,
part of the ride, Don.
Yeah. There's stuff like that happens. There are like weird animations that didn't finish and things like that. It's also really just kind of open. There's a lot of interpretation, a lot of environmental storytelling. So like if you're not playing with somebody that knows where to go or what to do, it can be like I can imagine a lot of people just getting lost. There were times where me and Mo were like just looking around. We're like, "Do you know what to do?" I was like, "I don't." We're just like pressing buttons against every wall. Like old school Zeldaing it, just trying to be like, "What happens if I go over here and do this?" So there was some of that, which is not my favorite thing. But the content was good. Captain Jack Sparrow was great. Whoever the voice actor is really close enough. Like you could tell it's not Johnny Depp, but like it's really close, which I much rather appreciate than like it's a new character and it's like completely different.
I agree with that. I'd rather have close enough. That's
the Marvel Avengers thing threw me way off.
Yes, my brain can't do that.
I was almost out from the moment they showed it. I was like, oh no, I don't want it. No, like it is really off-putting. So this was really close, and it was fun to do that little stuff while we did. I did help. There were several puzzles that I cracked the code on, so I felt like I was helping. I was like, look, I did it. We're doing it.
I did it. Now take the boat to the next place. I don't know what to do.
That's exactly right. Yep. Except for that, I'm not doing any of the boating stuff.
I'm scared.
What I did is I loaded all the cannons and then fired the ones that Coach wasn't currently firing. Okay. So that was my job. Like we got into a boat battle, and I just was like, I'm gonna load them all. So I just ran and load and kept circles until until he needed help, and then I started shooting myself. And then we did a little battle and we went home, and it was cool. It's not cool enough to make me want to play it. I probably don't want to play any of the rest of the DLC.
Okay. So it's not enough.
I haven't changed my mind on it at all. It is, it's really nice. So, spoilers. You open the game, you go talk to this pirate. She tells you, oh, by the way, forever. It's like 10 minutes to listen to her tell you the story. And she talks in riddles, and it's so slow. And then at the end, they open up like this mountain, right? Like this stream of light goes into the sky. Like this mountain opens, and you drive into the light. One thing I really appreciated, it takes you completely somewhere else. There are no other players on the map.
So it's instant. Like it's
you are not under any duress. Nobody's taking your boat. You're not being shot at. Like you can go and play the game at your own speed. You've got time to take in the sights. You can figure it out without being bothered.
I'm all about that. Yeah. Like I'm here for that because that's really what I want out of that game. Is like leave me alone. I just want to go do stuff myself. You know, like I feel that. All right, well that's cool. Maybe I'll check that out.
Ryan Turford says #air conditioner cast.
It's the adult cast. We're the grown up cast.
Hey, we gotta set ourselves apart. Right? There's Xbox. There's Xbox podcasts that like have Phil Spencer. Then there are like Xbox podcasts that have popular influencers and fanboys. Yeah. Then there's Xbox podcasts that are like doing it from cars. And then there's Xbox podcasts that are, like have gnomes. And then there's us.
We also have gnomes.
Yeah.
#GnomeCast.
It's like a parent cast, Xbox parent cast.
Grown cast. We're so old. Okay, so besides Sea of Thieves, you and I both have been playing Scarlet Nexus.
I am through phase 1.
Okay, I have not played as much.
Oh wow, because I was going to tell you, I felt like I haven't played a whole lot.
I've been distracted by all the shiny things that I could play on my new TV.
Yeah, you are.
So I do the thing where I'm just like,
hey, did you see my tweet about the black pates?
No.
So you said you needed dark.
Oh, I did. Yes, but I ordered the D brand ones.
Oh, never mind that.
So I ordered them. So they'll be here next month.
I was just going to send you my extra pair.
I appreciate
just sitting
that.
there.
I'm gonna fix it. But yeah, I've been doing the thing where I just cycle through video games to see the shinies. So I started Scarlet Nexus, decided I didn't like the character I chose, and I'm gonna go back and rerun the intro with the dude character.
So you chose.
I chose and I don't like the range stuff. I want the melee stuff.
That's why I chose the guy, because in the demo I chose the girl, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, it's too like slow. So I'm gonna swap, or it's just like stilted. It doesn't have the smoothness that I want. So I'm going to go back and redo the beginning and swap because that's who I am. But how much have you played then?
I'm through phase 1. I think I'm almost through phase 2. I played it a bit. Here it's a little weird. So
it is weird.
I played a bunch of games last week. I sat down to play Scarlet Nexus on Saturday. Wasn't really in the mood. Like I started to look at it. One of the things about it, all right, so like the game starts off much slower than the demo did.
Yes, it takes its sweet time.
Yeah, so you don't have a lot of powers, and you're doing a lot of the same stuff. And I was like, okay, which is fine. That's not like a negative on the game. It just wasn't really what I was like. I wanted to jump in it. I was like, I've already had the taste of the demo. So the other thing about it though is that there's a lot of characters, and they all have like Japanime names, and it's
yes,
I can keep up with them, but like there's a lot of them, and the game almost shotguns you into it because it's not like you meet one and then you meet another and then a little bit later you meet another. Like you meet like 9 people at once.
Right.
Like, here's this person and this person and this person. I just felt a little overwhelmed at first. I was just like, God, I'm gonna have to try hard. I'm gonna have to remember all. I don't really want to do this.
It's got an anime almost Persona-y vibe because there is some social stuff that's laid over top of that too. So you do actually feel like you have to keep track of those characters, which I like. I'm very into.
It's
a lot.
It is very so it's Astral Chain with like some Persona style.
Yep.
And Devil May Cry.
It's there, yeah, and there's some Persona like social stuff too. Yeah, it's a lot.
The
it's
Bond
anime
stuff
as
is pretty on rails. Like you kind of just do a Bond and it just kind of happens. At least so far. I haven't had to like try to do bonds. It's more like you just pick and choose.
Yeah.
The combat is very like Devil May Cry. The levels are very Devil May Cry. It's another thing about it is it has it's like Tokyo Mirage Sessions in the way where it's similar that it has this big world, but it's not open world. You can't like just go freely explore. There's lots of invisible walls. You kind of have to stay in your little sector that you've been that this has been prepared for you and laid out in front of you. So far, all the levels that I've been playing are very linear, like Devil May Cry. You kind of just run the level, just run in front of you.
I like that personally because I'm not right now at this point. I wasn't looking for something so overwhelmingly open. Do you know what I mean? Like I kind of like that it's funneling me. I realize how that could be a downside to a lot of people. When I get in moods like this, I need the video game to tell me what to do. I just want the game to to tell, and it does that.
It is very much like, here's your point, go to the point, fight the people, go to the next point, talk to the people, go to the next point, fight the people.
Yes, please tell me what to do.
So far, the story is okay.
I've heard it goes places. I haven't looked into where.
I need it to go somewhere faster.
Yeah, it would be good if it would get out of its own way a little quicker.
And
it's a little obtuse.
And it does that thing where I kind of want to make bonds or I crush on certain characters, but like I can't.
Yes.
Like I don't get the option. I'm like, oh, this is not, But look, I sound like I'm down on it. I'm not. It's a beautiful game.
It's fun. It's beautiful and it's fun.
Gorgeous.
I'm having a good time with it.
I love the style. Like I told you before, and I say it again, I want a Fire Emblem game that looks like this.
I agree with you.
The crispness and the sharpness of the visuals. I want all the glowy neon, all the reflections. Like everything is so shiny. Did you notice that when you move along the horizontal axis, your character kind of like shadows?
Yep.
So you kind of get like this specter of the character. I think it's so cool.
I like that stuff, like the Bayonetta Witch Time almost effect.
Yeah.
Like it's very similar, except it doesn't have the slowdown. It's just a shift. I love that stuff. Give me all the anime stuff.
Lots
That's
of visual
all
flicks, lots of lens flares. I mean, it's
so
really, really nice, and
it's fun.
I do like the beat 'em up stuff. Once I get more powers, I will enjoy. So I've already got the powers that I've got. I get the flame power, which you get first thing, and then I did the. I've already beat the second boss where you get to like slow down time, which they work in a special way, which is really cool. I hope they do more of that. Like more conditional boss fights.
Right.
Where you've got to use the powers together. I imagine that's where this is going.
I like that. If they do that, I'd be very pleased.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. I love it's almost Zelda-esque.
Yeah, you got to figure it out. Figure out the puzzle.
And you like, what do they want me to the combat puzzle? What do they want me to do here? Love that. Big fan.
The music is extremely Persona. You just got this jazz just popping the whole time. I mean, you can really tell that they've borrowed a few things from a couple different places, and I really like it. I don't regret buying it. I intend to keep playing it. I felt like the hook was sunk so deep from the demo that I expected more of that from the game, and it looks like it's just off to a little slower of a start.
Yes, I think it's doing the kind of traditional, almost JRPG thing.
You
know
nothing.
What I mean? Where it's like
you're lower
until
than
you're
nothing,
something,
and you got to build your way up. Yeah,
you just have to give it time, and I think that I feel like I'm gonna give it time. You know what I mean? I'm excited about it.
I bought the game, so I'm all in. I'm gonna keep playing it. I just didn't have a whole lot of time either. I was trying to do the Monster Hunter Stories 2 demo, and it's the same thing. I'm just like, it's not enough, fast enough that I'm just like, I'm bored.
The thing with this for me is like, I got this TV and I wanted to like play Ori and the Will o' the Wisps, and then what happened? So what happened was the LGC1 got pushed the 120 hertz Dolby Vision update in the last week, and I turned the TV on like 3 days ago, and it was live for me, and I'm like, well then, this is what we're doing now. You know what I mean? So I was like cycling through games that would let me fiddle with it, and it's kind of unbelievable. And then I spent today, my lunch break, like calibrating all the inputs, like the colors, and I'm doing the nerd thing.
Yeah. Well, thanks
I'm like
to
one
you.
step away.
I messed with mine, and I figured out because I jumped into the beta channel expecting the Dolby Vision, and it just never showed up. So I honestly just didn't bother with it. This looks so good. I was fine. And then I saw you, and you're like, I've got Dolby Vision. I'm like, I don't have Dolby Vision. Like, what's wrong?
You had it forced to 120 hertz, didn't you?
I had the entire console set on 120, and my TV isn't currently set up for that yet.
Right.
I don't know if we're going to get the patch or not. But I did have to do that. But I also found out, and I don't know if this affects yours, but my NanoCell has AMD FreeSync as an option that you can turn on in addition
Mine
to
has it as well.
So when I turned that on, my Dolby Vision options got automatically disabled.
Oh, yeah. See, I set the FreeSync to off. I have G-Sync set to on, but it's conditional. It will only grab it off of a source that's pushing it, which is, for me, my PC. But they pushed the update that gave me 120 hertz Dolby Vision. It also has the game optimizer thing now. So I push a button, and this thing comes up from the bottom, and I have quick access to, like, VRR on or off, G-Sync on or off. Yeah. It's pretty sick. Nice. I'm pretty excited.
Well, the VRR is game changer.
I think it is. I've spent the freaking week just like booting games. And the one that you've been playing is the next one. Like, I want to Doom Eternal just got its patch. And
it got
I'm
its
like,
patch yesterday. Do you know how big
is it
the patch
hot fire? It's probably huge.
It's like 70 gigs.
Yeah, that
basically
doesn't
just
surprise me at
installed
all.
like a whole new game. Apparently,
It's the new game. So what does this bring? Is this bringing 4K 60?
You can do 4K 60 with ray tracing.
Oh,
which is what I put it on.
Maybe.
Or you can
Like,
do
yeah.
120 at some unknown resolution. Or you can do 4K 60 with visual effects but not ray tracing.
Okay.
Which is what I
mean,
think we were playing to begin with.
I think was it supporting 4K?
I think
initially?
so.
I don't know if it even was.
I think so. I think it was doing that on 1X. I think.
Interesting.
I'm sure it was dynamic, but I know 60
it was
has
probably
always been a
dynamic.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was pushing the full 4K.
Ryan
That's my thing.
says 1800.
1800 at 120.
That's pretty damn good, actually.
I would do that, I think, just to push 120 to this panel.
Well, see, so here's the thing, though. Because my TV has yet to get the patch for Dolby Vision 120, now I'm not going to change to 120 again.
You're going to leave. Well,
because I don't want to keep messing with it. I don't want to keep going back and forth and back and forth.
How many games are supporting Dolby Vision right now, though? It's
Not
like
many.
only right.
Yeah.
So you're better off setting the panel to 120 until more games support Dolby Vision.
I booted up Gears 5 with the Dolby Vision. It definitely looked what I think is a little bit more rich.
It can,
not completely. Very, very close to what the custom Vivid settings that I've been sharing in our Discord for my NanoCell. I found this guy on TV or on YouTube, and he has videos for how to perfectly set every input. So he has like a game mode, a movie mode, and he has a Vivid mode. And his Vivid mode makes the screen. This is why if you follow me on Twitter @EatTheHype, and you see these pictures of my TV with these really saturated, vibrant colors, it's because of this Vivid setting that I have. So what I can tell from my experience with Dolby Vision is that my blacks are darker with Dolby Vision.
On a NanoCell, that will 100% be true. On my OLED, it doesn't matter.
But
for
the
my
brights aren't as bright as my Vivid settings.
That sort of makes sense because HDR is going to pop those brights really
And I don't know
hard.
if it's just like, is that just a Gears thing? Do I need to boot up like Cyberpunk? Or it's like
maybe
Scarlet Nexus doesn't support Dolby Vision, or any of that extra stuff. And it sucks because that would be a great one to do it on. It is so colorful, Elaine.
Does it support HDR?
I don't know.
I don't even think it pops the logo on my TV.
I've seen nothing when I turn that game on. It just comes on.
Yeah, me too. It just comes on, and it's very bright. And I mean, my panel makes everything look like. I mean, I'm cheating, right? But like, the Dolby for me, if I was you, I'm living. If I was you, because there's only a few games that support Dolby Vision, I would just keep the 120 on.
You think?
Because the difference, I think so, because you've already finished Gears 5 and the one or two other games that support it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're going to get more benefit.
It's like I'm playing Scarlet anyway.
Right.
With it
push
off.
the frame rate.
Yeah.
And the VRR,
I did boot up Doom Eternal. I restarted the thing. Just started playing all over again. This is a kind of hell week for me. We've got an event this weekend. It's been really rough. So instead of playing Scarlet Nexus and advancing the story and having more to talk about in the podcast, last night I just played like 4 hours of Doom Eternal.
Because that makes you feel better.
Blowing up demons and ripping them apart.
At the very beginning of the pandemic, right before Doom Eternal came out, I played through all the Doom games and landed on Doom Eternal. And boy, I felt so much better by May. Murdered everything.
I think the upgrade, I haven't played it in a long time. So I'm not necessarily, like, I imagine Digital Foundry might come out and say everything I'm about to say is wrong. I feel like it's playing much smoother than it did before. Like
I would assume.
It feels faster than I remember it. Mm-hmm. But the ray tracing, I'm not exactly sure I'm really noticing much at all.
That game is so grimy.
You see like a glimmer off the gun barrel every now and again, but it's not like Watch Dogs Legion has some ray tracing.
It's very shiny. I feel like I've said this many times. Most devs have gotten so good at faking those effects that unless it's a very shiny game that's explicitly put forth, like Spider-Man,
like a lot
is a good example. Water or glass.
Glass,
It has to have water or glass.
And a lot of reflective surfaces.
There's less of that in hell.
There's not many of that in Doom. And
it's hell.
It looked great and it played great. It really did. My wife watched me. She came down. She got home late. She had a voice lesson. She came home late last night. And she comes downstairs with her dinner and she sits in the chair next to me. And she looks at me for about 2 minutes and she sees what's happening on the screen. And she looks at me and she goes, "What the hell are you playing?"
Murder Doom monsters. What? It's so good. It's so satisfying.
Demon murder simulator.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
So
I love that game.
Cool that it got the patch. I think it's really great. I don't know if I never beat the campaign. It got super hard.
It is a challenging game. I played through the whole thing on the 1X, and I played through a bunch of it on PC. I will go back, play it again on this.
Maybe if there's like a dip. I've got a lot of stuff. Like I left Biomutant, and I left Judgment to play Biomutant, and then I left Biomutant, and like so I'm already starting to build like a little backlog of like I've got stuff that I kind of want to go back and play.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll go back to Eternal or not.
You got to pick one to settle into, I feel like.
I think this would be Nexus. Like, I'm really...
Yeah, me too.
I don't want the podcast listeners to feel like I'm down on Nexus. I'm not. I'm really excited with it.
Oh, it's good.
If you see my videos on Twitter that I've been taking to my screen, so I've got those dream color LED lights behind the TV, and my entire wall constantly, it's just like red, blue, yellow, orange.
That would give me a seizure.
It's going bananas. It's going nuts trying to keep up with this game.
I have the hue ones that I set. And I set themes based on the game that I'm playing. So when I play Assassin's Creed, it's blue-green, like Aurora Borealis colors. When I play Scarlet Nexus, I'll make it red and orange.
I took 4 seconds of video from a cutscene last night, and I swear the entire wall of my room changed color like 19 times.
I would have a seizure. I can't. I can't do the reactive. I have the reactive on my PC with 2 of the hues that sync to the PC for the Razer stuff, and I played Dead Cells with those, and it's wild. I was like, oh, dude.
It's like I'm playing Scarlet Nexus like in a rave.
Yeah, that's how it feels. I'm like,
yeah, but with soft jazz.
The sexy rave. All right, guys, just relax. Everybody's coming out of quarantine. People got feelings right now. So yeah, is that the bulk of what you played?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, same. I just did the cycle through all the games thing, and then I played a bunch of Tetris because
did Tetris anyway.
Because Tetris Effect on the OLED is mind-bending because the blacks are so black that the colors just, and then I got
that Dolby Vision?
I don't think so. I have to check. That's a good question. I don't even think I would have noticed. I was just in a dream state.
I only got this TV. Dolby Vision was a big reason why I got this TV, and it was because of Cyberpunk.
Oh, yes.
So that's like the game that I'm waiting on. I want the next gen awesome version with Dolby Vision and everything, and I want to be treated. I want to sit down to my TV and try to play that again.
I'm curious what they'll do with The Witcher, if they'll push some of that stuff into it when they update it. Because they're going to update The Witcher.
I'm never going back.
Oh, I will. I'll go to The Witcher again. But all right, video games have happened. News is happening.
Yeah,
and it's weird news. Okay, so apparently Konami, makers of pachinko machines worldwide, has decided pachinko machine properties
and that Metal Gear game.
Metal Gear.
What was the other one that the one that they released? So Metal Gear Survive, like the multiplayer.
Survive. That was a terrible video game. Super bad. I played it. It's so bad. So they announced that they're partnering with Bloober Team.
Sure.
On an unannounced project. Bloober being the folks who did The Medium. Correct?
Correct.
That's right. Yes.
Blair Witch. Layers of Fear.
Yes. And The Medium. And the agreement allows Bloober to, quote, produce games from existing and new IPs, which Konami owns. There's only one IP that Konami owns that is a horror game, and that's Silent Hill. So everybody is frothing at this maybe being the closest we've ever gotten to a new Silent Hill game being maybe actually happening.
So that's funny.
At this point.
Because I took to Twitter with some hot takes this morning, because a lot of people are not frothing over this.
They're up. Okay.
A lot of people are
frothing.
Angry.
People are frothing for a Silent Hill. People are displeased, or at least I've seen a mixed bag about this. My feed is less angry than yours. Yours is filled with demon murderers, and mine's filled with
it wasn't too bad. So I follow Colin Moriarty. I support Colin Moriarty. I've podcasted with Colin. Like, I like Colin's takes. Sure. It just so happens that I disagree strongly with Colin's take from this morning. I woke up. This is basically how I woke up. I was in bed. And I look up and I see that this announcement is here. Now, this announcement comes to me with zero surprise. There were leaks last year that Konami was fielding offers for a Silent Hill game, and I believe Jeff reported that one game was being pitched from Bloober Team and another game was being pitched from Supermassive. Today, VGC reported that Supermassive game was whatever they just released, their Dark Pictures thing, that they were kind of pitching it as a Silent Hill thing. And they just didn't get it. Like, they just said no.
Right.
So they released, their own thing. Colin tweeted today that this was terrible news because Bloober was basically unbecoming. And I'm paraphrasing, but he was saying anybody in the world would want to work on this. Why them? And
interesting, because it's been a long time and no one else has made a Silent Hill game. So
I'm glad that that's what you thought, because I was reading some of the thread and people were like, this legendary, storied, amazing franchise is so much better than them. And I'm like, y'all play the same Silent Hill franchise that I've played? Because there's amazing. Team Silent was great. Silent Hill 1, Agreed. Silent Hill 2. Personal favorite, Silent Hill and Wii. I thought was amazing. I had a blast.
Shattered Memories.
So good. Great story.
That is the best game. That's the best game in the series.
I'm so glad you agree. I don't think I've had anybody that's ever agreed with me on that opinion.
Shattered Memories is one of the few Wii games I still own a physical. That game is freaking incredible. And if people haven't played that game, I own a physical copy of that game. And I've played 1, 2, 3, and 4, which The Room, and I've played that one.
There's also a lot of really bad Silent Hill games and
Origins is terrible
remastered collection. That's just awful.
That remastered collection is broke. I own that. The PS3 game was bad, or that era game was not good. Like, look, kids, when most people think about Silent Hill, they think about 1, 2, 3. They're good games. They're
Silent.
And they're great, but the problem is nobody's made those Silent Hill games.
Those were 30 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
We're talking PlayStation 1. PlayStation 2, you know?
What everybody wants is either PT or those games to come back. And
I think it's the PT thing.
It's the PT thing that everyone's latched on.
I was trying to talk through my thoughts, because as somebody who loves the medium, who has said on this podcast that the medium is one of my favorite games that I've ever played in Game Pass. Like, launch day one of Game Pass, the medium was fantastic. If the medium was turned into a Silent Hill game, like if it was the same thing, it'd be an excellent Silent Hill game.
It would be better than every game that has come after Shattered Memories.
Basically, yeah.
Fight me. Go ahead and fight me. It's true. The PSP game was atrociously bad. Everything that came after the Wii, Shattered Memories on the Wii, has been bad.
So to Colin's point, I'm sitting there thinking, he's like, everybody would want to work with this. I'm like, who?
No one's wanted to, or they would have stepped up.
You gonna get Capcom? Like, who better? Who realistically better? Kojima Productions? Are you gonna just give him Silent Hill? Because
they can't afford him at this point.
And that was what I was thinking. I was like, you're not gonna split the revenue or pay somebody with real chops, like a real team. Like, the only really people, has Konami and Capcom like ever worked together like that?
No, and nor do I think they would.
Neither do
Cyberpunk Capcom has a direct competitor to their series.
The other thing that I was thinking was like Koei Tecmo, like they did Fatal Frame.
Yeah, but they're remastering a Fatal Frame game. They have things to do. Like, if you
they have other things.
If you look at horror over the last decade, it's who did Until Dawn?
Supermassive.
Supermassive? It's either Supermassive, and they're dealing with their.
This is my hot take. I'd much rather Bloober Team do this than Supermassive.
I actually, based on the Dark Pictures anthology games that have come out to now, I agree with you. If we're basing it on Until Dawn, we might have a discussion. But they have not produced something since Until Dawn.
They've followed Until Dawn a few times. It has not been good. Where I think Bloober Team gets better and better. Every release is better than the one before it.
And Silent Hill's kind of janky. And so, like, they're busted ass kind of janky games. That's what there is to love about them. They're not constructed like Resident Evil. They're not constructed like even Until Dawn. So, like, I think I'm not mad about this. I don't actually think this is a terrible fit. And I think if you look at the history of Silent Hill, you're not going to get PT. I think that Konami has shot that in the foot with how the whole Kojima thing shook out. Nor do they want to share revenue.
And that's a shame. It's
a shame because
I'm not the
amazing.
Kojima fan, but PT was incredible. It was special.
It was special.
And there's no guarantee that the final game would have been as special as the demo either. No. There's no telling.
It could have been bad. It could be actively could have been actively terrible, but they killed that partnership. That partnership is dead.
It's
I think everybody has to let that go. That thing was a time and place Silent Hill moment that you're not getting back.
And I wasn't even excited about that. Like, when I first played PT, I had even no idea it was even related to Silent Hill. So, like, that wasn't even a part of it.
If they had never unveiled that at the end of PT, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
If PT was just PT, we'd be wanting PT2 or something.
we'd be happy that Bloober was bringing Silent Hill back.
True.
That's how I feel about that. If you bury PT and you say they never unveiled Silent Hills at the end of it, and you look at Silent Hill and Bloober and you say, "Oh, they're going to bring that franchise back finally," people would probably be a lot more excited right now.
My first impression was that I really hope more people play the medium, because I don't think a lot of people have. Colin definitely has.
Coming out on PS5 soon.
Yep.
Yes? Yes.
Colin definitely hasn't played it. You can tell. Because I don't think anybody that would say that would have played the medium. Even if you didn't think it was great, like, to say that after playing the medium, I don't think correlates. And I'm a little concerned because for the last 6 or 7 months, all the fanboys basically use the medium as ammo as to why Game Pass sucks. You know, they always share the screenshot of its Metacritic and stuff. And, like, I hope PlayStation fans...
We're still doing that?
I hope PlayStation fans don't see that and, like, write off the medium as, like, a bad Xbox game. Like, I hope they play it because it's good.
Here's how I feel about that. I hope that the horror fans outweigh the console fanboys.
So, yeah.
Because horror fans are willing to put up with some jank. We've played the Saw games. We've played some busted stuff, and we found joy in busted horror games.
I really like the medium a lot more than I liked Resident Evil this year.
That's interesting. That's an interesting call. I have not finished the medium, and I need to. But I don't dislike what Bloober does.
The story's really good. I was so into the medium. Like 3/4 of the way through, I was like, I can't wait to see where this goes. Like, I was digging it.
I hope, actually kind of hope this is a Silent Hill project, because I would like to see that franchise get brought back by a team that wants to do it.
And for me, actually, and I have a point to that, but for me, actually, that's actually what I think I want more from a Silent Hill game. I want it to be, I want it to be scary and creepy, but I want it to be a great story that goes places.
I agree.
I want to be enthralled, and I don't want just jump scares. PT was the scariest thing I've ever played. But that, like, that doesn't necessarily make it a great Silent Hill game.
It had a story. I think if it was given its due, it could have had that story, but who knows? But I think Shattered Memories, Silent Hills 1, 2, and even 3, like, they put together some compelling stories and weird endings, and it was all there, but, like, there are good stories there, and for a very long time afterwards, the Silent Hill games have not been that.
Now, the other thing I was going to do, like, again, this shouldn't be a big surprise to people. I saw a lot of people on Twitter. They're like, oh, my God, this is happening. But they had Yamaoki, who's a sound guy. He does all the music and everything for Silent Hill. He was on Team Silent. He works at Grasshopper, right? No More Heroes and stuff. He worked on the medium. That was a big thing for them. They were like, we've got the composer from Silent Hill. Like, the moment that happened, you're like, they're totally making a Silent Hill game.
And I hope, like I said, I hope they are.
And he's going to be on it. Like, that, how crazy is that? It's going to be Konami. They're going to have their old sound engineer who works at Grasshopper and Bloober team. They're going to make a Silent Hill game together.
I hope so. I really hope this happens, because I think, like, I don't know, like, reboot Silent Hill. Let's do it. Let's have some fun with it. And storied franchise that's been garbage for the last X number of iterations. Yeah, like, calm down,
hasn't
people.
even been in there for a while. That was the other thing. I think you're right, because there were so many people who are like, the legendary franchise, like, that hasn't existed for 2 decades.
It's not been on a console since they like I said, post Shattered Memories, every one of those Silent Hill games is bad.
Point.
They're bad.
Be excited
they're bad
that
games.
It's even happening.
I'm excited they're bringing it back.
I felt bad for Bloober team. They deserve better.
I think
they've earned more.
They'll be fine. They're gonna show it. They're gonna put their money where their mouth is on this. I think they don't care what people on the internet are yapping about. They're gonna try to put out a product that they're proud of, and I think that's every dev is what they try to do.
Hopefully, Konami gives them the budget to let them really do it.
I hope that. I think this could be Silent Hill's Resident Evil 7 moment. Resident Evils 5 and 6 were not great, and 7 came out and sort of rebooted that franchise and made people like, oh, that's why I loved Resident Evil. I feel like this could be that chance.
That makes me so happy.
This could be that chance. This is their chance. So don't fuck it up, Bloober team. There's no other way to say that. No pressure. We got a question related to this. Mike says, so the last few Bloober team games have been timed exclusives for Xbox. Do you think this trend will continue with this partnership? Or will it make it multi-platform day one? I don't see a world in which Konami isn't multi-platform day one.
I do too. I had somebody tell me that they were like, this almost makes sure it's on Game Pass. I'm like, I wouldn't be so sure.
No, I wouldn't be so sure.
Some folks were saying that, like, Colin was mad because it wasn't going to be an exclusive. You remember the rumor was that Japan Studio was rebooting Silent Hill. Now that studio's gone now, so I think there are some PlayStation fans that were hoping an exclusive Silent Hill game was coming. I I wouldn't be shocked to see this game be exclusive to any platform, because the way these companies are acting right now, they're just writing checks. So I did remind somebody, it's like, yeah, like multi-platform makes sense because of Konami, but like all it takes is a big check.
I think if this thing hits right, it would take a really big check.
And I think This
is a story. This is a storied franchise in a lot of people's brains, even if my argument is that it's been bad for the last, 2 decades. But this one, Konami never has been one to, do that. I think they're just going to push it out onto everything they can put it on.
I think Konami would absolutely take the biggest check made available to them.
Well, the biggest check is going to come from Microsoft, but it's a matter of whether or not Microsoft wants to put that money out.
It may not be exclusive, but it may launch into Game Pass.
I could see that happening. Yeah. I could see day one on Game Pass and releasing on everything. Yeah. That's the iteration I see happening. That's the big check.
That is a big check.
It's a big check. Mm-hmm. Speaking of big checks, Phil Spencer, we'll move on from the Konami stuff. Phil Spencer was on Unlocked 500. I mean, it's a good show. Yeah. I listened to most of it. There were a couple little tidbits for people. Donnie, why don't you run those down for us here?
Sure. Definitely go listen to the full show. Don't take these. This is not all the news that came out of us. I just took a couple highlights. He reiterated that Xbox will continue to release special edition hardware and that they want to, but, quote, the chip shortage will be with us for a while. So the wait for special edition hardware might be longer than folks want. I know a lot of people are thinking that we might get Halo boxes. Doesn't sound like it.
No, I mean, you'll be lucky to get boxes for Halo.
Good point.
It's the way it's been right now.
Starfield?
And that's 2022, yeah.
The end of the year?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see end of 2022 them shaking the tree on this.
One of my predictions was that we would get a Halo edition themed Elite 3 controller, and I'm really surprised that we don't have that.
I think they're holding those controllers another year.
Wow.
It seems like they are. It seems like they're so up a creek just getting hardware out.
A Halo themed basic controller.
That they will probably do.
Yeah, they've got to do that. That's got to happen.
If they can do Space Jam, they'll do a Halo.
That's true. Okay. Good point.
I just hope it's not stupid. Halo 1. They've been kind of boring in the past for me.
I want a Craig controller. That's what I want. Screw Chief.
Big old Craig
face on the controller.
Craig face.
I would buy the hell out of Craig face controller.
You would. You're a broken man.
Swappable plates, actually. You can go Chief or Craig.
Chief on the back, Craig on the front.
Craig on the front, yeah.
Party in the
That'd be so good.
Business in the back.
That'd be so good.
Apparently, also, Phil is not retiring anytime soon.
He said this is a stream job. So, yeah, he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. Look, he's got a sweet gig, and he's probably the most personable person in video games right now.
Definitely is. He's also a young man.
Yes.
So I wouldn't expect, like, you definitely don't leave while you're riding high like this. But I will tell you this. 3 years ago, if you had told me the process of him leaving, I would have told you it's disastrous. With the inclusion of Bethesda, I don't look at it that way anymore.
Agree.
Like, he could leave if he wanted to. Like, they have enough people, enough faces now that,
and like, the truth?
It wouldn't be lost. I would hate to see it happen, but, like, it wouldn't be lost.
I could see Pete Hines moving into his job almost effortlessly.
Too. Yeah.
He's got that personality. It's the same personality, and you just kind of want to hug him, and you're not sure why. Yep. I could see that move happening effortlessly if they had to.
Absolutely.
You're set up. Not Tom Howard, though. Keep him. Todd Howard. Keep him in his shiny shoes the hell out. But yeah, but Hines would be great. Speaking of Howard, oh boy. Guess he's talking about Elder Scrolls 6 now.
Yeah, he was. He did an interview with. I forgot. I read the original article. It's like The View or The Viewpoint or something like that. And anyway, yeah, he said Elder Scrolls 6 was in the design phase, and he shared that it's using a lot of the same technology as Starfield is, their creation engine too. I don't know why this made news. It's everywhere. It's on Polygon.
I don't know why anybody's surprised.
Kotaku. I don't think. Yeah, I'm not sure that anybody's surprised, but I did see there were a lot of people that were like, "Wait a minute, like Elder Scrolls, like they finally got the memo today." It's like, guys, Elder Scrolls is so far.
It's gonna be a minute. Yeah, it's gonna be a minute.
So far away. I wouldn't bet now. If you were like to give me odds, I wouldn't take that it comes out before the end of 2025. I wouldn't make that.
I was gonna say 2024. That was going to be my guess.
That's
2 years after Starfield.
They've been working on Starfield for so long, and it's still not out.
It's true. I mean, who knows? Bethesda's going to do what they want to do. I was thinking 2024 because I would have thought 2 years between. Maybe 3 though. Could be 3.
They got Avowed. They got Fable. Like,
I forgot about that.
Elder Scrolls is going to be 2025.
It's going to be a minute,
at
kids.
the soonest.
I
Probably
feel like
2026.
Oh, don't say things like that.
Probably.
Don't say things
It's
like
not that far. It's like 4 years from now.
My children will be almost grown by
Mine will be
then.
gone. But like in video game
Can't.
years. Do you have any
I
idea
know,
how
but
The Last of Us 2 was in development for
Do you know how much
ever.
gray hair I'm going to have
Like
by
a decade.
2026? I know.
In video game
I know.
years, that's really not that long.
It's not. I know. I wish you would stop talking about it. It's
Yeah,
like,
but everybody,
shut
Elder
up,
Scrolls,
Todd.
man, they love Elder Scrolls so much.
He's got a game coming out that's a massive achievement. So just talk about that game.
They haven't
know?
released Elder Scrolls since Skyrim, and people are still just frothing for Skyrim.
Which version of Skyrim? Because we've had 4,000.
Right, but they're just
on my
still
toast.
still just want. When's the next Elder Scrolls?
They're special. They're special games for a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
I still remember playing Morrowind. You know, I'm in my dorm room. Like, I have very, very vivid memories of that game. So I get it. Those games get under people's skin. Seven asked us a related question. What would Starfield, aka Skyrim in space,
Told y'all.
feel like for you? Which elements of Skyrim would you like to see in Starfield? How would it feel? How would you transfer some of the game's mechanics? And do you think someone got a laser in the knee?
This is a great question. I've been
that line.
thinking about this since they showed Starfield.
Starfield.
So when I think of Skyrim, the thing that always excites me is it's a world that you get lost into.
Agree.
And I don't know how you do that with space travel. Like if it's going to take like a long time, the worlds have to be that inviting, and I think you have to be able to get to them quickly.
I
don't know
agree
if we're
with
gonna have,
that.
like, some sort of fast traveler, or if if blasting off and getting to the next place is just like a couple minutes, but like if you've really got to travel, for some time to get to the next planet, like I don't know. Or like if you have to gather enough resources to be able to make, like I'm starting to go down like a No Man's Sky type.
No Man's Sky. I don't want that.
I hope it's not that.
And me too. I would rather it be more expedient and let me put myself on worlds that felt very tightly crafted than have them be generated and procedural and like that. I kind of envision locations in Skyrim but as different planets.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's in my
doing it.
head what this looks like.
And what
It's
I
just
want
like,
is endless amounts of side quests. I want guilds. I want factions. I want to get lost in different worlds and different politics and just go. Like that's what made Skyrim special. Is you go
Agree.
get lost, get off the beaten path. Don't follow the main quest. Like there's so much world to discover. There's so many people to talk to. When it comes to mechanics,
yes.
I just
I
wanted
don't care.
I just wanted to play like an action game and not Fallout. So my biggest issue with Fallout is the combat mechanics are not for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I think I'm with you on this. I'd like it a little bit. Yeah, I kind of like the way Skyrim plays more than Fallout. I don't like the VATS stop and start stuff. I liked it at the time. I don't want it back now. I'm good without it now. Yeah, the thing that I'm most compelled by is like the factions and the brotherhoods and the different, like I want that stuff, and I want to feel like I can just
like alien races and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I hope they're not zany and cartoony. I hope they're like grounded and
Agreed.
realistic, and like this whole like that first thing I keep saying, it gives me such like interstellar vibes, like man ventures into the stars. Like I hope it keeps that even as we explore and find other things. I hope it keeps that kind of groundedness.
It's like I want Outer Worlds, but like serious.
Yeah,
not like goofy. Yeah, I want like serious business Outer Worlds.
I think that's my thing
with
with Mass Effect. Is it's just like this is so crazy and like high fantasy sci-fi stuff.
It is.
Like it gets a little out for me. Whereas like in Interstellar, it's totally the same. It's super sci-fi with black holes and shit. You're meeting other people on different planets, but it's like there's a whole other dimension where you're meeting these creatures that you don't even know. Like it's the same thing, but it keeps its groundedness, so it makes it feel believable.
I agree.
And that's what I want from Starfield. That's the only... I was not even excited for Starfield until I saw the trailer, but that's what I took from that trailer. And hopefully I'm not wrong, but that's the thing that sticks with me from the trailer is like, oh, this might be like the Apollo 13 thing that I've always wanted, That's
what Skyrim does pretty well. Like it's got its goofy moments, but for the most part, it's pretty serious business with its wackiness. You know what I mean?
And
So that's kind of what I want.
But in that world, you were like, it's totally believable, this dragon.
Yeah, there's a dragon. It belongs there. I want believable aliens, if that makes any sense at all. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm with you on that. And that's the stuff from Skyrim that I most want pulled out. Like how we shoot and what the mechanics of that stuff are, I don't care as much about as I do a world that like embeds me and it makes me want to be there.
I do want agency over the combat. I like that.
Fair. That's fair. I feel you on that. All right. What's Remedy doing, man? Because apparently everything's weird this week.
Remedy announced that they're doing yet another deal with 505 and that they've got plans for 2 more games in the Control series. The first being a multiplayer spin-off.
Sure.
Titled Project Condor.
I don't care.
The next will be a bigger budget Control game. Great.
Sure. I'm into that.
Very into that. I've been tweeting with Miles Dompier from Windows Central ever since E3 because he started posting about I think it was Redfall and how he's so excited. He loves multiplayer, co-op multiplayer. And I was just like, dude, I'm tired. Everything is co-op multiplayer. Every game is co-op multiplayer. It's like I feel like there's so many. I don't know if they're just chasing the money or they're chasing the trends, but like nobody just wants to make single player games anymore. Like everything is co-op multiplayer.
Because that stuff persists and does well. You know, it makes money and it streams well. People stream it well. And I think I get it. You know what I mean? Single player games, they don't get streamed often. People don't, they play them and they move on to the next thing. I get it. I get it. I love them. Right? But well,
as he put it, he said, we've got to get to a place, which I give him a lot of credit for. He said, we've got to get to a place where co-op doesn't mean sacrificing single player. Both can happen at the same time. I think Far Cry 5 did that very well.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's kind of what Remedy is doing here by disjointing them.
We'll see.
It's like saying, I hope so. It's like saying, here's the thing that some people want, and then we're also going to do the thing that the other people want. But we're going to separate the products instead of doing what... And Resident Evil has kind of done this. Yeah. Maybe less successfully. But their RE-verse stuff has been separate from their campaigns.
Yeah.
And I don't hate doing that. I kind of like that. I get to pick and choose what I want to engage with this way.
Sure.
So, apparently it's going to be a minute before we see any more of either of these projects. Which
they're doing, So I was actually surprised they announced this because they're doing, I just lost my train of thought. They're doing Alan Wake.
Well, was that confirmed?
It's been confirmed. Like, it's highly evidentially rumored.
Yeah, but they haven't confirmed.
They haven't confirmed it, but they're doing a new Alan Wake and I believe
a remaster. Remaster has like quote unquote leaked.
I think it's either published or they got seed money from Epic. So Epic's funding this thing.
Yes, so because it was in their storefront mining and stuff like that.
So I think it'll be exclusive to them on PC, and I 100% believe it'll launch on both consoles.
I feel like they're announcing this to distract people from the unannounced thing that everybody knows.
To throw them off the trail?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't think... And also because this is a big deal for them.
This Control game is maybe 4 or 5 years away.
Absolutely, so you know what's going to happen in the next 2.
Like, if they're going to do... I imagine they'll do the Alan Wake remaster. It'll come out maybe early next year. Because if it was coming out this year, I think it would have been announced already.
I agree with that.
So it'll probably be out early next year or summer, which means they'll probably announce the actual new Alan Wake game at the same time, and it'll probably be out the following year if they're working on it now. Which means
the multiplayer spin-off, then the next.
At the earliest would be 3 years from now, probably 4. Yeah.
But I mean, they're not ready to talk about Alan Wake yet, and they're ready to talk about this. That's fine. You know what I mean? Like they locked in their money, they locked in their deal, and they're like, we're working on it.
They do got plenty of work to do.
They've made the point during some of these conversations that there's a ton of Control is a big universe for them with different stories they can tell. And so they can just tell a different story. And that's kind of cool. That's like a great concept for a world, and an interconnected world at that. And they may use Alan Wake they've bridged the gap a little bit already. They may go one step further with whatever they're working on with Alan Wake if they decide to. So
I imagine that's a big point of why they want to do the remasters. I'm very excited for an Alan Wake remaster. I love Alan Wake.
Me too. I never played Alan Wake. I installed it after playing Control, and then I started hearing these rumors, and I was like,
it's really good on backwards compatibility, but it's still old.
Yeah, right. It's the thing. It's an old game, and I might just wait.
It looks old. Even with the up-res, it still looks old.
Yeah.
You want it nice and pretty.
I want shiny. Yeah. Give me the shiny.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me this is exciting because I really liked Control. So
when I lost my train of thought, the only thing I could think of was flashlight game. I'm making the flashlight game.
That could have been Doom 3.
I like Doom 3. I played it for the first time on Switch. I never played it.
Flashlight. You got the flashlight. You didn't have the original where you had to lift the flashlight and then bring up the gun. It was bad at launch.
That sounds miserable.
It was awful.
It plays like a really cool, like a Fear. You know, like it plays like a really cool, like horror shooter. I was like, this is kind of cool.
It's a survival horror shooter more than it's a Doom game, which at the time I wasn't all about. But now, having played it in the series, I like that game more than I used to. The bad final boss. They're all bad. So, do we have any other news? I don't think we have any other news this week.
No, it's pretty light on news overall.
I mean, it's post E3.
Yeah.
We should all be playing video games, but Donnie and I are so bad at it. Yeah, play Scarlet Nexus. It's good. We have questions. We've got questions. We always have questions.
Of course.
Okay, I'm gonna read this one because I love this question. The gnome says, "Damn you, gnome! I show up on your doorstep and say, Donnie, it's time to go. Where am I taking you, and what are we going to do?"
I have so many questions. Like this question just begets more questions. Like I don't know any of the parameters behind this. There are no.
He's just showing us up. Oh, you want to know first of all how
I
the
can
gnome
go
get
anywhere?
there?
Like
no, I don't know. I think the gnome is taking.
Am I taking the gnome somewhere, or is the
gnome drive?
Is he just going with me wherever I go? Like, is the question, Donnie? You are free to do whatever you want. And this is what you're doing.
The question is, the gnome has a plan for you. What do you think the gnome's plan is?
Oh, that's terrifying.
Right. That's why it's fun. He can't drive, so get in, loser. We're going somewhere. Where's the gnome gonna take you? I was thinking like a distillery to break into all the rum, but like
good. See,
and set it on fire afterwards.
You're keeping within the lore of the gnome.
I'm trying.
I appreciate that. Like you're the writer. You've adopted these universes. Like I'm thinking like my favorite place to go to lunch, like a fun activity.
Where would you take
I'm
the gnome?
taking the gnome like laser tag or something.
Take the gnome to laser tag.
He'd be an excellent laser tag partner.
He would be drunk the whole time.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Who smells like rum in here?
What if I took the gnome to a strip club? Does that work?
That's pretty good. Does he keep the dollar bills under his hat? That would be so awesome. Just pulling them out. No, they're not dollar bills.
He hands out Game Pass.
They're Game Pass codes.
That's exactly right. Just sticks it right. The G string. He's like, here you go.
And then you get thrown out and have the crap beat out of you because the girls do not want Game Pass. They want dollar bills.
It's worth its weight in gold. It's worth 2 or 3 times what the currency is on it.
This is worth $15 a month.
You can sell this for triple the price on eBay right now. Starfield's coming soon. Hold on to it.
Yeah, these girls are like, get out. He finds the one girl who's wearing the Princess Leia costume. It's like, I got Game Pass. She's mine.
There's always one.
There's always one. It's really one places. Thanks, gnome. God. Boy. Jeez. All right, you pick a question. Mine went terrible places.
Samphis wants to know, he says, so we're getting a mini fridge. What other Xbox branded appliances should also be offered? Quesadilla presses, shop vacs?
I want a toaster that puts Game Pass on my toast.
That's a great answer.
I want a toaster that puts Game Pass on my toast.
I would buy the hell out of a Game Pass toaster.
And it's connected to the internet.
That's so good, Elaine.
Every once in a while, it prints a code for 1 free month of Game Pass on your toast. But you never know when it's going to happen.
I don't have a better answer than that.
Toaster's the best.
My answer was going to be like an Xbox Soda Stream.
That'd be sick.
With like an Xbox button, and you press it, and it goes shh. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
With like LED lights.
It doesn't go shh, it whispers Game Pass.
The correct answer is an Xbox branded inflatable hot tub.
Okay, yep, with the lights.
It's all about the lights. The lights are imperative.
The lights are very important. If it doesn't glow green, like this toaster better glow green at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very into that. Also, I cannot wait till this fridge comes out because I need it. My children mocked me for how badly. Yeah, I'm gonna put it probably somewhere in this basement. It's gonna go
right behind me. It's got to.
Maybe under my desk.
Think about it. I will no longer have to like make drinks with ice. I can just
pull
from the fridge.
What I really want is for you to pre-make your drink before the podcast and just have only your drink in the fridge.
That's it. Just the one
just
glass and
it's
everything.
glowing green, and
there we go.
But it has to have a little gnome behind it holding
Some
it.
James Spader energy right there.
Yeah. See, I thought this one through. Yeah, I would love a Game Pass toaster though. I'd buy that.
It's good.
My husband would divorce me in an instant, but I would totally buy it. So, all right, let's see what else we got. Oh God, the gnome asked other questions. I'm not reading this. All right, this one's from Mike. How much do achievements impact the way you game?
0.
You care?
No,
yeah.
I turn my notifications are off on both consoles. So
really?
I don't know when I get trophies or when I get even when people try to pair up with me, we basically have to be on voice chat because if you send me invites and stuff, I'm not monitoring.
I never see those either.
Because I don't like the stuff. It's always popping up and it sucks when you have a really good either prompt or a screenshot or something, a stupid thing pops up. So I just turned it all off. I don't do that.
I leave them on the Xbox because I really like the sound effect for the rare achievements. I like the little diamond. It makes me feel special. I don't know. I used to chase after certain achievements. I have very vivid memories of Dead Rising and driving a car around so I could murder 10,000 zombies. There was a time when I was very, very into chasing certain achievements because I thought they were funny.
What is your gamer score?
I don't even know anymore. It's probably low now. It's probably only 60 or 70,000.
That's mine.
I don't care.
So mine's low too.
I don't care.
Mine's somewhere
now, that. I like it when the icon pops up because I think some of them are cool, but I'm not married to chasing after
wish there
any
were
of them
more
ever.
Cool achievements and stuff.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Dead Rising had some really stupid ones. I really enjoyed that game. It used to be an interesting way for me to extend the life of games when I bought less games or where Game Pass wasn't around, where it was okay, let me check the list now that I'm done with the game and stretch it. But now I have all this disposable income and I have all this Game Pass.
That just feels like chores to me.
It didn't at the time because I just didn't have money to buy new games. You know what I mean? Back when the 360
I've just never
was a huge
played
thing.
a game with a goal like that in mind. I'm gonna do this until I finish this point. I don't. I don't play games that way.
The last game that I got obsessive with it about was Resident Evil 7. I got all 1,000 base points on that game because I was obsessed with that game.
Usually when there's a game that I really, really love, I might, I cracked out on my 3rd or 4th playthrough, I cracked out a guide for The Last of Us.
Okay.
So I just wanted to have all the collectibles. And it just made playing it for the 4th time, let's do something else this time. But I had already played it 2 or 3 times over before I'd ever even ventured down that path. And I didn't do all the trophies either. I just did the collectibles ones.
That's interesting. That's what happened to me with Resident Evil 7.
They're
it was the same thing.
Beat it on Outbreak, you beat it multiplayer. I was I'm not doing any of that.
Resident Evil 7 I beat it on easy and then I really loved it. So I beat it on normal. And then I wanted to see how much more challenging it was. And then I started looking up the list and I was like, yo, all of these are very doable. And it was because I looked up the collectibles. Because the thing about Resident Evil is it unlocks stuff, weapons and stuff. And you beat it certain ways. And you get this really sick bandsaw that you can just mow through everything with. And it's fun. So that one I obsessed about. Other ones, not in a long time.
I told you a couple weeks ago, Jack got that 10,000 monthly perk.
Nice.
And I bought him 5 games for $3 that were basically auto achievements.
Yeah.
I popped the achievements for those too. I was I bought it. Might as well.
Might as well. There was an Avatar game, I think, that you could do that with back in the 360 era that everybody rented.
I bought some visual novel. It was absolutely hilarious. I bought some visual novel that you can basically go into the options and set it to auto run at super
and it would just
fast
finish.
Speed. Yeah, and you just start the story and it just goes nuts.
It's funny.
But in super fast speed, the story was bananas. There was this girl who shot her parents and the teddy bear got the gun and shot someone, and it almost made me want to turn. I was like, what is happening?
What is happening?
This is
hold
crazy,
on. Go back.
Yeah, I was almost interested. Not enough to stop, but Jack got 9,000 gamer score and he beat his friend from across the street. He was so excited.
Oh, see, I feel like it's a kid. It's definitely as I've gotten older, I want to experience more games instead of more of 1 or 2 games. That's just the way I've changed. But I will say Resident Evil 7 got its hooks in me really hard, and I got all 1,000 gamer score on that one.
Nice.
All right, what you got? Other questions?
Ryan he asked this on Twitter earlier. Can you name a few cross-platform games that are glaring omissions from the Xbox library? As always, can't wait to listen to you both on my walk in the morning. Keep up the fantastic work.
An interesting question.
I think Persona immediately jumps to mind.
That's a very
Final Fantasy.
One
it's going to be a lot of Japanese stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, the Final Fantasy games, some of them are on Xbox.
Right, but not the ones that people want.
Not
right
the
now.
ones you care about at this point.
Not
probably.
the Pixel remasters. Not Final Fantasy VII.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this today. Get out. Persona's a huge. Well, so Persona is interesting because the base JRPGs have never been on an Xbox console, but the arena games have, and they're very good actually. For if you like fighting games, I would say.
Well, how could you like a Persona fighting game without playing the actual Persona games? That's so strange.
That's part of the problem, and they're both predicated upon actually playing 2, 3, and 4.
It's crazy that Strikers didn't show up.
That one blows my mind. Well, maybe. Yeah, because they put it on Switch, and you couldn't have played P5 on Switch.
Right. It's like they were. It's like they were exclusively paid not to put it on there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So weird.
I was gonna say Fall Guys, but I mean it's on the way. I mean Xbox has done a really good job at trying to fill those gaps. They finally got Dragon Quest. They finally got Yakuza. They're getting Fall Guys. Like they're working on it. Like they're trying. I think they're very aware of what they're not getting.
I would really love to see the Persona series land itself somewhere else in terms of the RPGs, not just like I would love those games to get brought to everything. I would love to have a Switch
Sony
collection
wants to
for those.
actively make sure that does not happen.
Of course they do. Of course,
you'd have to secure Atlas for that. You'd have to buy Sega or something.
I guess I think the argument becomes if you write a big enough check.
Oh yeah, there is a big.
You know what I mean? Their argument is there.
But I think Sony is writing a big enough check. Like they're writing a check to not publish.
In this instance, but they're on Persona 4 at least is on PC.
Yeah,
this could happen.
And they said that they wanted to do more of that, and then nothing has ever come out.
Nothing.
Of that.
I would love Persona 3 and 5 to end up at least on Steam.
Could you imagine?
That would make me very happy. I would buy the hell out of anything. I have every collector's edition up there.
And it's weird because Catherine, Atlas has games on Xbox.
Right.
It's not just an Atlas thing. It is. I mean, I don't want to point the finger, but I mean, it really feels like this is a PlayStation.
Or maybe they just don't.
It doesn't happen. Like Final Fantasy VII.
Yes, but maybe they just don't want to do the dev to bring him over either. Who knows? Maybe they're so. Who knows? I don't have a background.
You did the dev for.
But that's a whole different game.
Right, but it's way more. That's what I'm saying.
Could argue.
If you're doing the portwork for Switch, then obviously it wouldn't be that hard to bring it to Xbox.
Unless it was written to be able. Yeah, that's true. Not bringing that one to Xbox is a glaring omission.
I can't really think of anything else. Once they got Dragon Quest and Yakuza, it's yeah, they don't get Persona, but Xbox gets games that PlayStation doesn't get too. It works both ways. It's mostly Japanese stuff. They're not getting any of the Senran and Kagura games and stuff like that. Yeah. They got Valkyrie Chronicles, which I was a big fan of.
That is interesting, and I'm glad to see them do that. I'm glad to see them get the Dragon Quest stuff.
They're working on it. I think
that's great. Yeah, and I think, Atlas
it's really
being
Sega.
Weirder. Yes.
It's really
Sega's
Sega.
playing. I mean, the Yakuza stuff is an excellent addition.
Sega and Capcom plays nicely with Xbox. It's kind of like that next tier. I wouldn't be surprised for because it's Bloober Team. I guess I'll take that back. Bloober Team, it's gonna be on Xbox, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't Bloober Team for a Konami game skipping Xbox because their stuff has been kind of hit or miss for the most part.
I almost feel like they couldn't lose the revenue.
I would hope
at
so.
This point.
I
feel like they need.
At this point,
those
they just
games.
feel like they're just in it for the most money. So it's then make it as most multi-platform as possible.
I think that's where Metal Gear Survive sealed the deal on that. It's just got to go everywhere.
Yeah, and they
don't
did
have
it with
a choice.
5. So they've really come a long way from that too. So
I'm not super worried about that. Yeah, I'm not super worried about that not being everywhere. I think
Platinum
the interesting
publishes
thing
on Xbox. They brought Vanquish and stuff like that. I imagine they'll bring the other stuff. Yeah,
I would love to eventually see the Persona games branch out to PC, even to Switch. It's not even just an Xbox thing. I just want those JRPGs to get out there to more people.
I feel like it's really Persona. That's really the one.
It's the big one, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm thinking through my.
Trying to feel if I'm missing something.
Basement. I'm sure that I am, but it's not.
There's a lot of PlayStation exclusives that are on PC that aren't Xbox, but I'm not shocked by that.
That's becoming
Detroit,
their
right?
new thing. Sure. Yeah. And I think that's become Sony's new thing.
And,
That's their
Until
version
Dawn,
of...
did Until Dawn ever come to PC?
No.
No?
Oh, but the Dark Pictures anthology, I believe, is out on everything. So that's an interesting one that bridged over because they brought those to everything.
Did Beyond Two Souls come over to Xbox?
That's a good question. I don't think so, but it's on PC.
And I think, but Detroit and Beyond are those are PlayStation published games.
I believe that's true.
So that's correct.
It then. And Heavy Rain as well.
Right, that's got to be it. Then.
That trilogy of games is all on PC on Steam. You could buy it as a collection, but it never came anywhere else.
So I don't know if those even would count for Ryan's question.
They don't to me because it's like the same as like a Ghost of Tsushima situation.
Yeah,
if PlayStation's
like a
publishing
full exclusive.
Yeah, they're bumping it to Steam because they make more money by doing that, and it's actually kind of genius.
I've been making that prediction for like a year now. I'm fully expecting PlayStation to go PC. They're going to play on PC.
But I don't think it'll ever be day and date for them though.
I do.
I don't think so.
That's where they're going.
I think it'll always be a 3 to 6 month delay.
I expect that eventually they'll launch their own launcher.
Oh, I hope not. I can't. You know what? Here's my thing. Don't think it makes sense to do that. There are 2 huge juggernauts in the mix. That's software dev that they don't have the juice for. Just cut someone in. Actually, what they should do is cut Epic in and stop playing games because they no.
My impression is that they would always do like a PlayStation Now thing where they let you download some games and they start publishing some of their stuff there and letting you play locally on PC.
I just don't. I'm conflicted about whether or not they would bother to spend the dev cycles on that stuff. They don't have Microsoft's FU money. Do you know what I mean? They don't have that.
I never thought
they
about
don't
it that way.
Yeah, they don't have a software dev team either.
I posted
it's not really what they do.
An article today. They've been some indie devs have been calling them out on some.
Oh, I saw that. I'm interested to hear.
Practices.
Interested to hear some podcasts chat about that.
Yeah.
In the next week or so. I hope that's something that Microsoft continues to do well. People seem to think good things.
Don't you like it when your company seems to have like a really good indie presence? Doesn't it make you feel good? Like you want to support them? I
think seeing how a large company treats smaller developers is very telling about how they do business. The better they treat small devs with small projects, the better you feel about their overall business practices. Now, that's a canary in a coal mine. It could mean nothing.
Yeah.
But I do like seeing that happen.
And to be clear, I'm not taking shots at them. This is a couple developers that went on record. But it sounds like most of their stuff is true. They're not featured indie devs. And I realize that there's a huge difference between a featured indie dev and just a regular independent developer. If you're not making your game exclusive for them, if you're not throwing it into PlayStation Plus, if you're not partnering with them, or I guess maybe according to them, a better way of putting that is, if they're not partnering with you, then they're kind of you're just kind of thrown out there, which sounds like
Steam. That's how it works.
And I was going to say, it sounds like exactly like what a lot of folks are saying about Nintendo, but it sounds like the PlayStation back end for publishing, where like Xbox, as I understand, it's basically an open publisher. You can get a console, you can put it in dev mode, you can develop a game, you can put it out there, you can publish it. Even you just post it and it's like available. So it's almost very open in that way, even though it's a closed network on a box. Like it's very open. The PlayStation stuff doesn't sound like they can't dictate trophies. They can't dictate sales. They can't do a lot of things.
It's interesting.
Hands off. Where even Nintendo, like we see indie developers, just using that, like just basically abusing that privilege. With just hundreds of games being on sale all the time, just for visibility reasons, so I think you could even make a counter argument that maybe that's a good thing for PlayStation. But
yes, and there's the circle of life conversation to be had here because there was a time in which Microsoft limited how many patches devs could put out and stuff like that. Like this is not, to be very clear, Microsoft is not absolved of bad practices.
I don't think anybody.
Do you know what I mean?
I do think
it's cycles.
I was reading the games industry that bit. I saw the thread and I retweeted the thread earlier, but I wanted to wait before talking about it because I wanted to see what other people are thinking. I was like, maybe this is just this one dev, and he has a bad experience. But then you see a lot of people come out and they're like, no, this is the thing. So I think it's just really kind of showing like it feels like PlayStation maybe hasn't caught up with the times a bit, and maybe they're just kind of a little bit behind on that.
And I think it's not to say that they won't figure it out.
That's
you know
what
I mean? Because Microsoft went through the same cycle and kind of figured it out.
A lot of people
and they realized
didn't like Microsoft, and they weren't publishing their
bad.
indies. Yeah, for a long time, they were having a hard time with indies.
They were very vocal about like I can't patch my game anymore because they won't let me issue another patch, and there was a lot of that stuff. And I think that Microsoft has sort of changed their tools.
Or they
and
weren't
how they
publishing
look at
their
this.
stuff correctly, or publishing the wrong day, and
or rejecting stuff that should have passed cert, like over really stupid stuff. So like this is a circle. Like Sony will shake this tree and they'll figure it out. It's unfortunate that it's happening, but I wanted to make sure to bring that up. Microsoft's been through this ringer too. At least they fixed it. So I don't know, man. I think that does it this week.
Yeah,
good show. Yeah.
Agility 1983. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Says he's loving the stream.
Oh yeah.
Sure,
Thank
you.
Thank you. I always appreciate it when people listen to this nonsense live when we make stripper jokes about the gnome. Hey Lane, I have a friend who's like, hey Lane, what'd you talk about in the podcast?
We need an artist to make this scene come to life.
This is how we get booted off Twitter. This is how it ends for me. Not 14 years on Twitter and it ends in a gnome in a strip club. I swear to God. All right. Before we get out of here, let me give a shout out to our on-air producers from Patreon. Thank you, folks, for supporting us at the on-air level and every other level, and the retweets and the Discord messages. You make the world go round, and I love all of you. So our on-air producers, Michael Masick, Edwin Callow, Stephen Keller, Nick Creature, Ben Moxham, Nick Fallhaber, Paul Calicote, Kyle Heyman, Evan Tyus, Josh Bourbon, RJ Kern, HorseGirl69, Zach Adams, and Joe Wilson. Thank you, folks. The support, as always. If you want to find us on the internet, I'm on the Twitter. I'm on the Bird app. I'm ET Dragon, and Donnie is Eat the Hype. And you can...
You should change yours to Eat the Dragon.
You don't want to eat the dragon. They're very chewy. There's all that muscle and those scales. What else would guard my video game collection? It's just hissing on a pile of games. All right, I think we're good, man.
I just had I revisited like Smog, but instead of gold, it was just like boxes of like 360 games, just like a GameStop trash can. You know, he just like he raises his head, boxes just start pulling out. You see the eye. That's like what that's what went through my head.
Gnome pops out of one of the boxes, just drinking rum.
Tim says he wants your TV.
Oh, it's mine. TV's everybody wants my TV. My husband won't leave the basement. He's like, what can we watch down here? I'm like, get out. Get out.
I'm rehooking up. So I rewired my entire setup. I'm not sure if you noticed in the pictures. I took it apart. Too. I moved. Did you see my Last of Us PlayStation 5?
Yeah. Yes.
All my stickers?
Yes.
So I moved it to the right so I could turn it sideways so I could see the stickers. So I moved all of my Xbox stuff to the left. And then what I decided was... because I've been in this movie kick lately where I really, really want to watch an awesome movie, but I can't find the movie. I don't like. There's a movie that I want to watch. Like I know what I want. It's like I want to experience like the Lord of the Rings again, or Interstellar again, or something big like Troy or Gladiator. I've seen them all. Like I've seen all of them, you know. But like that's what I'm craving. I want big, blockbuster, new special effects epic movie, and I just can't find it. But I pulled out my before I got this TV, I had a sound bar and a sub, and I pulled it out because like I'm just like missing like I don't know, like I feel like I just want to go to a movie theater. Like I'm just really, really jonesing to like go to a movie theater. So I hooked that back up too.
I have mine. I have a surround sound set up still, and I had recently bought a new subwoofer. It was like a year or so ago because mine died. And I realized I turned it up a little too high while we were watching movies down here because it was like shaking the floor. I turned that down just a little bit. I bought on Prime Day the Lord of the Rings trilogy in 4K for $60. So I'm going to do that on this
we
TV.
did that last year, so it feels like really current. I've done those.
I haven't watched them in a long time.
I've done The Matrix. There's a movie out there. Like Mad Max feels very new. I probably haven't seen it in a couple years, but like it's still really, really right here.
Yeah, vivid. I've been jonesing to rewatch Alien, the first couple Alien movies, Halloween. And also the Terminator. Those are the ones that I haven't watched in a long time. So, like my family won't leave the basement now. I can't get them out of here so I can play video games because everyone's like, "Let's watch TV." Everyone's like, I don't want to watch it on my TV. Get out. Then the dog comes down, and it's like everyone in my basement.
Prove the error of their ways. They're like, this TV sucks. Now you got to buy 4 more.
Yeah,
of those
my
TVs.
husband's like, this sucks. I want the good TV. Well,
right?
Shit. All right, I think that's gonna do it. Well, don't worry, I'll report back on TV findings next week. We good, Donnie?
We're good.
All right, kids. Until next week, play some video games.
Peace, folks.